So be ready. Those are a lot, but in the workshop we're going to look in that one more time. So one of the things is, it is important to understand again, it is not that there's right or wrong, it's just for discussion and to give you inspiration to innovate. So what you see in exponential business models, the question is, are we solving problems for many? So if you have like a niche market that you serve, then exponential models are not most likely to happen in your industry. And what you see is that the platform business is, as I told you, because of the connectiveness, also because we can produce locally. You see that this platform connecting buyers and consumers, or consumers and producers, so anybody can be producer and consumer at the same time. And platforms like Facebook or Tinder, is Tinder active here? Oh, sorry. Or Uber, those are all models that connect, and value creation is then very different from a pipe, because the value creation is not in managing the value chain anymore, but it's about managing the interaction between the producer and the consumer. So it's a very different ballgame. And what they now say also, if you would like to go that route, then it's important that customer behavior is the thing that you need to modify in order to see if people are going to your platform. What do I mean with customer behavior? Okay, you need to feel comfortable if you work with Uber that you don't get a receipt anymore. So how are you going to do that? So this is the model. And when it comes to exponentiality, you could ask yourself as a business, what would it look like if we start to develop a platform like this? So it doesn't mean that you need to build it, but what would a platform look like? So even in my business, where we help with design all over the world on business models, what would a platform business for my company look like? Another thing what we found is the community of fans, just like you saw with the company Zappos. And the community of fans, for example, with Tesla, it's interesting because those people are so excited about the brand that they start to talk about it to others, and they help actually you to do a job. And that's what you can call it's exponential. And what you could even say is that the community management is the new HR management, because it's useful to start managing that community. Another one is channels. So if your channels happen to be more digital, logically, it doesn't require any human interface anymore, and it can go by itself. So a digital channel, for example, a company like Autodesk, they used to sell licenses, and you could go to the shop and install this in your computer. So this is software where you can design different products and things. And right now, everything is digital. So this company, they needed to move from selling licenses, software, to subscriptions in the cloud. And Justin, my co-author, was working at Autodesk, and I asked, how did this happen? Was everybody excited about this thing? He said, well, at some point clients started to ask this, so we had to. And right now, they're fully digital. So that means, in terms of also scalability, they have a good job. Information-based services, when you look at your value proposition, then here in the value proposition, most companies that are exponential have a offering that is information-based, like LinkedIn, that's very clear, or Spotify. So there are companies also that are featured in this list of exponential companies, but like Zappos, they don't necessarily have this as information-based services, but mostly when you study these companies, they have that. Multiple revenue streams. So if you look at a company like Airbnb, they make money both of the hosts and the people who rent the place. So in this platform business, it's interesting because then you have multiple revenue streams. Are you ready for 4 more? Still feels okay? Okay. So the other thing is scalable process. So finally we get there. That's something that we may be more familiar with. However, what I like when I see these companies is scalability that kind of take it to the next level. So what does that mean? Is a company like Zappos, they say to companies like Amazon, here you have all our internal data. And we're not going to make it scalable for you. No, we're going to create an API, and you do your job, what you're good at. So scalability is really use the data, do your best thing, and that's how they scale. And if you look at the company Amazon itself, when you look at their own products, well, it's now fully scalable because from the moment you order at Amazon, they can fly it with a drone to your home. So this is the box scalable processes with key activities. Another one that's very interesting is the algorithm to the core. So algorithm means like, are we using data to understand customers, but then for the next do a better job in order to sell more? So Facebook can even read our minds, that's what they told us. They can predict when relationships end, when marriage ends and so on, by your behavior, how you Google and how you work on Facebook. So the other thing, Amazon, they knows what's next. So they know what is your next purchase, most likely. So algorithm is interesting, and companies who are exponential, they score very high on this algorithm. Holacracy culture, we talked about that with Sepos, and even though this was the best example or terminology I could find, but also holacracy is not something that is, it's kind of criticized also in the US, because they say it sometimes tends towards more democracy, and like sometimes it doesn't work and it's fully optimal. However, this is a way that a company is going, and you see also that companies are not even given employee contracts anymore. People can decide about their holidays themselves. So what I want to show here is that are your teams able to manage themselves without any hierarchy? So that's the holacracy culture in resources. Then in partners, you see that companies who score high on exponentiality, they leverage almost anything to partners. So they don't do stuff themselves. So here you see a concept with Mercedes and a drone manufacturing company, that they have a logistic concept, but they could never ever do that themselves because it would be far too costly. And now when they start to partner up with other companies, they are able to do something completely different. And this is an example of Netflix and Amazon. Netflix is not managing their own hosting platform with servers, but they use Amazon Cloud, because they say our core business is all about videos and production, but it's not about working in the cloud and having the server capacity. So this is in the leverage network. And then the last but not least is, I found it remarkable that a company like GE is in the list of exponential companies. And the way that Singularity University is looking into this, they say they apply the lean approach of thinking. And that's more exponential than the traditional way of thinking. So what does that mean? Lean way of thinking is that we're not going to design or build a product until the very, very end without customer testing. So what we do is we design, we build very small, a set of small experiments. We're going to measure what's going on and whether customers like it, yes or no. We analyze, and then we learn, and then we change. So this is the lean learning loop. And the company like GE, so here GE, that's something that they practice and do a lot. So these are these 10 building blocks based on the business model canvas that we see exponential companies are benefiting from these features. So in the workshop, we're going to look, okay, so what is most likely for your company? How do you score? And what are new areas that you can develop? And these kind of exercises we use for brainstorming and generating ideas. And what we learn is, well, mindset rules apply here. So sometimes people say like, well, this is not our ball game. We can never ever do that. Well, then don't do innovation, because innovation is hard. So it's just to come up and find a different mindset. This business model canvas is a very easy tool to use. So you first model your own business model, and then try to understand other business models. And when you do that more, you see that you can generate ideas very easily and also get insights from what other companies are doing. What you now also see is that when I showed this pipeline model, that we have customers, we thought they are predictable. We thought, okay, if this is our customer, this is their income, this is where they live, this is what they spend on grocery shopping, etc., etc. Well, that's not true. We see that it's non-linear. So what does that mean for companies is that user journeys are actually the new sales funnels. So there is no pipeline model. It's all over the place. So you see that user journeys, understand what they do, how they act, is becoming more and more core business for these companies to understand. And then algorithms are the new decision makers. So what about the future is what's still ahead is keep an eye on this platform business models, because it's coming more and more. And for you, the question is, what kind of role would you like to play there? And artificial intelligence is definitely going to change the game. And I had a conversation on Facebook 2 days ago with another keynote speaker from Belgium, and he said, yeah, its impact is huge. Well, I know there's going to be impact, but how? I still don't know, but it's cool to keep an eye on that. And robotics, the dilemma here is also, is robotics going to change the way we work, and maybe we get fewer jobs? Well, I tend to believe that we get different jobs, and let's see where robotics is going to take us. So I believe that design is first and execution is second. So let's design some business models together, and see you in the workshop. And I hope you can get out of the building today with at least 2 or 3 new ideas.